Over a period of time, I learned many things, and it is time for me to give it all to the community where I learned a lot in simple terms. Helping the internet community is an opportunity for me to grow as a person, to better understand how I fit into the world around myself. In today's video, I provide information on different certification options in MS Azure with the required skills, what you need to have to get certified, and the benefit you will gain after the certification. In this video, I am going to provide you information on what are the different certification options available in Microsoft Azure, and it will give you to decide the best option based upon your role that you are currently playing or your future goals that you have in mind. Well, for all the certification, you need to better to start with the very basic simple Azure AZ900 examinations, which is called as Microsoft Azure Fundamentals. Though it is optional, it is better to take this exam, and that will set you the momentum and also provide you strong base for acquiring rest of the certification. If you already worked in either in MS Azure or any of the cloud service provider CSP, it is better to know the basis of Azure by going through AZ900 examination. You will become more familiar in the following areas: cloud concept, core Azure services, core solutions and management tools, general security and network security features, identity, governance, privacy, and compliance features. Well, except the last but previous, that is security and network features, rest of the topics are easy to understand. Anyone who gave general computer knowledge and basic work experience can get through the topics easily and clear the examinations. But mind one thing, you are learning all the basics in AZ900 examinations. Next come AZ204, which does not require a coding knowledge. All you need to know is you have to familiar in the following five important topics: developing Azure Compute Solution, developing Azure Storage, implementing Azure Security, monitor, troubleshoot, and optimize Azure solutions, and finally connect to and consume Azure services and third-party services. As a developer of any stream, either .NET, Python, or Java, or any other programming language, you should attempt to get this certification. After becoming Azure developer, it is good to acquire Azure DevOps certification also, because they go hand in hand, and it is essential to get to know about the DevOps. To get yourself certified in the DevOps area, you need to concentrate your studies in the following key important areas. Number one, design and implementing logging and implementing telemetry. Second comes developing a modern source control strategy, planning and implement branching strategies for a source code control, and then configuring repositories along with integrating source code control using any tools. Next comes generating DevOps process documentation, automating communication with the team members, designing a good build automation, maintaining a build strategy, design a process for standardizing builds across the organization, developing and deploying scripts and templates, and finally planning the deployment strategy across the organization. So this helps you to achieve the DevOps certification. So this is the first path in Azure certification, where you are kind of an Azure developer with the DevOps certification in hand. Next come the second path. Now let us explore the second path, which is become an Azure administrator and acquiring DevOps certifications. Though I said AZ900 is optional, and you are learning all basics about AZ900 exam, it is better to take this exam as part of the second path, that is Azure administrator to Azure DevOps certified engineer. Next thing, after acquiring AZ900 is to focus on AZ104, that is for Azure administrator role. You need to learn and familiarize in the following topics to become an Azure administrator. Number one, manage Azure identities and governance. implementing and managing the storage. Third one is deploy and manage Azure compute resources. Fourth one is configure and manage virtual networking. And finally, monitor and maintain Azure resources. After this, you can end with the DevOps certification as said earlier, that is AZ400. That completes the required certification for the developer for MS Azure. So this is the second path. The third path starts here. It is for the developers to work with. Developers who wish to move to an administrative side of the MS Azure after acquiring AZ400 examinations, instead of moving towards the developer role, they can fulfill a complete administrative role by getting into Azure security related certification, that is AZ500. Please note that AZ500 is not an entry level certification. However, if you are brand new to cybersecurity, the AZ500 is an excellent long term goal for you to achieve it. In order to acquire AZ500 certification, you need to have good understanding and experience in the following areas. Number one, you must own strong skills in automation and scripting along with virtualization and networking. Second one, deep understanding of networking and virtualization. Third one, it requires a detailed knowledge about entire application design and hosting. This certification is mainly targeted to those audience who want to build their career in Microsoft Azure domain as a security specialist. Next comes the fourth option. And this fourth option, after completing AZ900 certification, you can take AZ500 directly, which is for those people who are already security experts in Windows Server Management, network specialists, and spend a good amount of time in managing security aspect of LAN, WAN, and managing on-premises data centers. Also note that here also I am suggesting to complete AZ900 and take up AZ500 directly. The main reason is that AZ900 will give you introduction to Azure terminologies, their basics, and it will give you confidence to take higher certifications. And the fifth one, that is for the experienced developers or designers who already have good amount of knowledge in MS Azure or in any cloud service provider certifications. That is to acquire Azure certified architect position. You need to have a strong design and architecture skills in addition to normal programming skills in order to get it into these certifications. First, AZ303 is for MS Azure Architect Technologies. Here you will be tested for the key important 4 skill area. One is implementing and monitoring Azure infrastructure. And then second is implement and managing the security solution. Third one, implementing solution for application. And finally, implement and manage the data platforms. Please note that this exam might be retired soon and visit Microsoft website to get to know more about the expiry information. The next come AZ304. It is also for architecture role and it covers the following important areas. One is design and applications and host it in Azure and then do monitoring. Design identity and security based solution. Design application with complete data storage. Design and build application with business continuity. And finally, design an application which suits the best in brand of design infrastructure which is available across the globe. This is the fifth path in the Azure certification area. So it covers both AZ900, AZ303 and AZ304. So after having this, you will become an Azure architect. Please visit Microsoft website. There may be changes in the certification with respect to AZ303 and AZ304. That will provide you more detailed information. Next come the sixth path. That is the path number 6 and 7 are for data professional. As part of this path, again, I suggest the data specialist or a person who would like to proceed in data engineering role can start with AZ900 and move to DP200, which is meant for implementing Azure data solutions. After acquiring AZ900, again it is optional, but I advise you to take this exam. Though you are familiar with the data design of RDBMS, NoSQL, and also design and implementation of data warehouse, it is better to take up this DP200. As part of this DP200, which is first step to become a data engineer, you need to be familiar with the design of data and associated systems. Specifically, building data warehouses, NoSQL and relational databases, and hybrid data solutions are addressed as part of this certification. So, in order to acquire DP200, you need to be familiar with the following key items. One is the list contains the skills measured on this exam associated with the certification, which includes design and implementation of data storage, design and development of data for data processing, design and implementation of database system with high level security, monitor and optimize the data storage and data processing. So after acquiring DP200, you will become a design expert for designing Azure data solutions so that you can do any of these following key activities. One is data related design and implementation tasks, provisioning on the proper data storage service, ingesting, streaming and batch data using suitable mechanism, transforming the data between different sources and storage type by implementing security requirement, and finally you can apply data retention policies that meet the business requirement of an organization. The next come the other path that covers DP100. So here, after completing again the basics Azure certification AZ900 as a data scientist, or to be a data scientist, you can try DP100. That is design and implementing a data science solution on Azure. The Azure data scientist applies their knowledge of data science and machine learning to implement and run machine language workloads on Azure, in particular using Azure machine learning service. So this DP100 is moderately bit difficult. The focus area for this examination will be in areas like setting up Azure machine learning workspaces, run experiments and train the models that using machine learning, then optimize and manage the models whatever created, and then finally deploy and consume the models based upon the organization requirement. So after acquiring DP100, you will become an Azure data science associate, and you are just a subject matter expert who can plan and create working environment for data science workloads on Microsoft Azure. You can run data experiments, train the predictive models, and manage, optimize, and deploy machine learning models into the production. Next come the eighth path. Path 8 and 9 are meant for advanced topics such as artificial intelligence, AI, and Internet of Things, that is IoT. On path 8, as said earlier, after acquiring AZ900 on the basis of MS Azure, anyone who is good in analyzing the solution requirements or designing solutions or integrating with the AI model into the solution and deploy and manage the solution can focus on the studies in the certification of AI 100. This certification exam tests the skills of candidates related to artificial intelligence and engineering on the Azure cloud platform. Qualifying the certification exam showcases your abilities and expertise on the MS Azure AI engineering. As part of AI 100, you will learn and gain experience in the following key areas. That is, ingest, transform, and prepare the data for AI solution, design and implementation of end-to-end AI solution, monitor and optimize AI solution. Then the fourth one, secure AI solution for Microsoft Azure, and your ability to show, which include machine learning application and integrate with your host application. And finally, learned Microsoft Azure Cloud Platform cognitive services like Face, Vision, Text API, and more. On path number 9, as you can see, you will always start with the AZ900 and then jump to the next topic area, that is Azure 220, which is testing your knowledge on Azure Internet of Things, that's called IoT. This certification requires good amount of coding skills along with some background of design and development of IoT based application. Azure IoT developers implement a design specification for IoT solutions, which include device topology, connectivity, diagnostics, and monitoring, along with security features. They develop the code that enables two-way communication between the device and the cloud. While preparing for this exam, you will gain knowledge in the following key areas. Number one, general understanding of the device types and Azure services, which include data storage options, data analytics, data processing, artificial intelligence, platform as service options, and you are able to program at least one Azure IoT software development kit using the SDK supported language, whatever you have. The next come the path number 9, which is meant for preparing Azure for SAP workloads, that is AZ120, which is meant for SAP workloads. And in order to prepare for this exam, you need to have extensive experience with the knowledge of SAP system landscape and industry standards that are specific to initial migration or integration or long-term operation of SAP solution on Microsoft Azure. Well, after acquiring initial certification on AZ900, a SAP expert can work on preparing AZ120. Candidate aspiring for this AZ120 certification should have a comprehensive knowledge and experience in the following SAP areas. One is basic knowledge about SAP application, SAP HANA, S4 HANA, SAP NetViewer, ARM template, SAP business warehousing. Also note that one important thing, even after acquiring AZ120, Azure SAP workloads experts need to work with the cloud administrators, cloud database administrators, and the clients to implement the solution specific to SAP implementation in MS Azure. And that completes the certification for Azure for SAP workloads. Again, helping the internet community is an opportunity for me to grow as a person, to better understand how I fit into the world around myself and you. Thank you, and I hope this short video helpful to you.